Well, hello, my name is Jim Royal. Thank you very much for watching my video. If you haven't already, please make sure that you subscribe below. I'm a huge Beatles and Elvis Presley fan, and there'll be many more, hopefully, informative and fun videos to come. Today, though, I wanted to share with you the first record that I ever bought, ever. And it was with my own money, the first one. The very first one happened to be a Beatle record. They are my favorite group of all time. And I still remember when I bought it. At my house, my family had 2 Beatle records and that was it. We didn't really listen to the radio at home, but anytime that my parents would run errands, we would go in the car, they would always have the radio on. And it was always the popular songs of the day. And even though the Beatles had broken up by this time, they still played the Beatles all the time. So that was my exposure to the Beatles. Later, when my dad remarried, they had a record at his house that I really liked a lot, and I was really excited about wanting to buy it. And it was a little on the expensive side. It happened to be a double album. In fact, it is this one right here. It's the Beatles 1962 to 1966. It's the Red Album, otherwise referred to as that. It was originally released with this one referred to as the Blue Album from the Beatles, 1967 to 1970. They were both released in April of 1973. And this one went on the charts, got all the way up to #1 on Billboard, and in the United Kingdom it got up to #3. So it was a #1 hit here in the United States. Not bad. And it's a really nice collection. So I remember I had a little toy cash register piggy bank. It was a cash register and it was lime green if I'm not mistaken. And I still remember it was always really easy to put money in, but it was really difficult to take money out. I guess that was part of the thing of saving. So I remember I went to a local record store. I don't recall which one it was, but I still have an image of a shorter, smaller perspective because I was 11 or 12 when I bought this. And I still remember going up to the clerk, to the cash register area. I put it up on the counter. I had my money with me. I don't know if I had a bag of change or if I had it in an envelope. And I don't know if I had a $5 bill. I really don't remember. I know I had some singles, I'm sure. I have no idea what this thing cost, but I would imagine at that time, this was way after it came out, it was in the 80s. It was probably about $12, I don't know, in change. I have no idea. But anyway, I'm going to tell you, this is just really good. The album, this was photographed, it was a cover just like the Please Please Me album in '63, their first UK album. Though I found out recently this is an alternate shot. And I thought that was pretty neat. So this is it. It's got the 1970s look, you know, bubbly letters, which was kind of fun. And I believe doing some research, this is a 1976 pressing. But you turn it around, and you got the Beatles. A photographer named Angus McBean photographed both of them. They asked him to come back, and this is, I believe, the EMI building. And they had him photograph them 6 years later. And this was going to be the cover for Get Back, which eventually turned into Let It Be. So they're a little bit older here, a little more scruffy looking, but still putting out great music. This is the inside, the inner gatefold. I've always liked that. This photo, I believe, was taken in 1968. I believe it was called Mad Day Out Sessions, photography sessions. And I'll tell you some of the stuff that's on here. And who wouldn't love it? Love Me Do, Please Please Me, From Me to You, She Loves You, I Want to Hold Your Hand, All My Loving, Can't Buy Me Love, A Hard Day's Night, and I Love Her, 8 Days a Week, I Feel Fine, Ticket to Ride, Yesterday. And that's just the first disc. The second disc has Help, You've Got to Hide Your Love Away, We Can Work It Out, Day Tripper, Drive My Car, Norwegian Wood, Nowhere Man, which happened to be one of my favorite songs, Michelle, In My Life, Girl, Paperback Writer, Eleanor Rigby, and finally, Yellow Submarine. So this was a fun record. I had a little kind of children's record player. It was red and white, and I would play the record. In fact, this is the record on the red Capitol label. And I discovered here this morning that there is a scratch on my record that I had done probably when I was 12 or 13. Feel bad about that, but hopefully it's not deep. I'll have to play it and see how it is. So that was my first experience, and I would end up, listening to this for several years before I finally started collecting other Beatle albums. In fact, we started doing cassettes. So I would do like little radio or talk shows, kind of Johnny Carson shows, and I remember one of the musical acts was the Beatles doing Nowhere Man. So I thought that was fun. So I wanted to ask you, what was the first record that you ever bought? Not received as a gift, but what was the first one that you remember buying? Please put it in the comments below. If it wasn't a record, if it was a cassette or a CD or even an 8-track, I'd love to read your comments. This one was designed, both of these were designed by Alan Klein, who was their manager at the time. And this was in response to a 1972 album. It was a bootleg that was available on TV called Alpha Omega. So when these albums came out, this pair, they made sure with the advertising that this is the only authorized one from the Beatles. There were 12 #1 hits on here. And these were all, original Beatles songs. I know they had, songs like Twist and Shout that were very high on the charts, but they decided just to stick with, the regular Beatles. And I tell you, this is definitely an album that you want to pick up. And while you're at it, also pick up the Blue album. So thank you very much for watching my video, and you have a really good day. Take care.